Hey everybody, this is Ray Chu, and I want to share with you one of my showbiz stories. Story about survival and trusting your instincts. When I was 16 years old, I was working with Melba Moore, straight out of high school. And on this particular night, we were working with Melba up at a place called Grossinger's in the Catskill Mountains. And we'd also booked a gig after that in the Bronx at the ballroom. And so after the gig at the Catskills, we drove to this little private airport and we took these two little planes. Now there were 8 members in the band. So 5 could get in one plane, a double prop, and then the 3 of us the remaining 3 could get into this single engine. And now this plane was about the size of a small little car with a propeller on the front. This was a little plane, and so it already felt, I already felt queasy about this from the start. But in any case, hey, we're trying to squeeze in some dollars, and that's the hustle. It was supposed to take us about a half an hour. We get in the planes, and there's 2 planes, and so we're in back of the other plane. And the plane taxis down the runway, and we follow it, takes off, see the light, we're following it, see the little blinking light, so we're following these planes, they're partners, we're following each other. And so in about 5 minutes into the flight, that blinking light just disappears. And so we're not seeing anything. And it's pitch black. You can't see nothing. There's no indications of anything. You can't tell up from down. It's just black out there. 15 minutes into the flight, and it's always supposed to take a half an hour. The pilot starts clicking around, click, 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 click. Starts, pushing buttons, click, 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 click. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? And maybe that could be routine. He could be checking his instruments. Could be. He's clicking some more, and he starts, and I'm looking at him, and his face doesn't look right. And he says, I don't know, my electrical panel doesn't seem to be working. I don't know where I'm at. He says, I think I got to turn around, I'm like, turn around? We can't even tell what direction we're going. But anyway, so he says he's going to turn around and try to go back. Wow, so I'm like, wow, this is not looking too good. Anyway, so he turns around, I guess. I couldn't tell because everything's totally dark out there. All right, so we're flying back, trying to get back to where we started from. And we're flying, and by the way, you hear about crashes up in the Catskill Mountains all the time, especially with these little prop planes. And you can't tell where you're at, whether, you could be flying into a mountain for, who knows? And his equipment is out. I started really feeling a sense of despair. I could see he was nervous, definitely unsure about what to do. And so I really just kind of, went inward and went into a prayer and meditation and really just kind of told myself, well, first of all, there's no sense in panicking because there's nothing I could do. This is totally in your hands, God. If and I don't even remember if I said a specific prayer. I just totally went into that meditative state. And I remember coming out of it, and we're still just flying around, and then way off in the distance to the right, I could see some little bitty lights, and then way off in the distance I could see some little bitty lights to the left. And then he says, the pilot asked me, he says, hey, and he's yelling over this, which way do you think I should go? And I'm like, so I didn't hesitate. I just felt, I said, go that way, to the left. And he went that way. And we flew, and somehow we found a airport, not the same one we had flew from, he found, and it's not no big major airport, this was some little private airport that he managed to somehow find. And when we landed this thing, this pilot, he got out and kissed the ground. He was so, I mean, I could see, I was like, wow, you know, we really obviously in that much jeopardy. But, you know, but the sense that, you know, that he was looking to me to ask him which, you know, to make a decision. And my instinct simply just said, go that way. And that's where you have to trust your instincts. I can tell you many times where I've had to make a choice whether to walk down this street and something tells me, don't do that. Or maybe take a step back. And you can imagine the people who had missed their flight that day on 9/11, you know, how they felt about whatever, you know, circumstance or whatever instinct may have told them to kind of, you know, hold back or something. So yeah, we didn't make the gig, and it was just a moment. So anyway, there you go, folks. Trust your instincts. Rate you out.